This episode is supported by Bow Concept. We're really excited to visit Bow Concept's new store on Ingram Street, Glasgow, which is due to open in 2020, and browse the Danish Interior specialist range of customisable furniture and accessories for the home and workplace. Bow Concept Scotland offers a free interior design service, a guarantee for a lifetime, and installation throughout the country. Keep an eye on @bowconcept.scotland on Instagram for further updates on the grand opening. Stores are currently in Buchanan Galleries and Princes Square, Glasgow, plus Edinburgh, Rose Street. Hello and welcome to the very first episode of 2020 for the Homes and Interior Scotland podcast. I'm your host Jill Welsh, and I'm also the editor of Homes and Interior Scotland magazine. It's not just a new year, but the start of a new decade, and this has really got us thinking about what's in store for design and interiors. The 1920s iconic Art Deco movement has left an enduring style legacy, so how will the 2020s compare? We'll be chatting about the past, present and future of home decor with Henrietta Simpson and Annika Tulloch of Designworks here in Glasgow. Designworks has been a fixture of the country's interior scene for more than 30 years, ever since the showroom opened its doors in the West End in 1982. The Designworks team is just back from a trip to MAISON et OBJET in Paris, an international trade fair for interior design, architecture and lifestyle. So it'll be fantastic to find out what Henrietta and Annika can share about the trends they picked up during their visit. Okay, you've just been on a buying trip to Paris. Tell us more.
Well, it was always exciting as usual. We go twice a year to Paris, September and January. And also in January, all the showrooms actually now open and have about a week event. So you can visit all the showrooms as well as all the the companies at the exhibition. This all started because the exhibition has been going about 20 years now. And back in the day, all of the fabric companies went to Paris, went to the exhibition at MAISON OBJET.
Yeah.
And 4 years ago, there was a big windy day, and where all the fabric companies were, there was all the buildings started shaking, so everyone had to decant from the building. And for a day and a half, the people couldn't exhibit their product. So because the company who ran the exhibition decided not to reimburse them for their discomfort, all the companies said, well, we're not going back. So now we have two exhibitions where all the furniture companies up the MAISON OBJET and all the fabric houses around in the streets where we actually visit, and so it's a good buzz going on. But that only happens in January. But in Paris itself, we're saying, well, used to the situations of the railway not working and things like that. But anyway, we got round it and had a good exhibition, and there was lots of good new companies there too. So it's always a good chance to see what's new companies coming through, as well as the old companies that are always
refreshing.
And
it's grown over the years, and it's huge now, isn't it?
It's huge, yes. Although in saying that, I think that this year I've noticed that there are a lot of the companies who are now thinking of also going to Milan, because we go to Milan as well. So they're feeling that maybe the exhibitions change over the years. Like Cologne used to be one of the best exhibitions, and with Milan, Cologne, they went downhill, then Paris comes uphill, and then so they have this interchanging sort of situation, and I think it is changing again a lot. So Milan will change a little bit more up with some of the other companies, so it's going to be interesting.
Do you feel this year was maybe one of the strongest years in recent years? Or?
Yes, in recent years, because there were a lot of companies who were there probably 4 or 5 years ago. Furniture companies decided not to, and I think what was with the downturn in the markets and things as well, they choose not to go and only exhibit in their showrooms, because it is expensive for these companies to go.
Absolutely.
It's very expensive. So,
and it's also, you're going there to obviously look at new trends and to be stimulated as well for your own.
Absolutely,
as well as the business side of it too.
Yes,
so
because
for your shop,
it's difficult because you see all these. If you go there, you see all these companies, and who are you? Who's a good company? Who's a good company to look at? Who's a good company to deal with? It's not just about the company, the perception. It's the reality of the situation, and companies that are willing to work with you and develop with you as well, and build up a rapport with the companies and know that the product product you're ordering for your customer is a good product, and that's essential. You cannot do it online. You have to see it to do it properly.
Interesting. Okay.
It's essential.
And was there anything particular that's in your head that you want to pursue and that you saw, something that stuck with you that you love, or any colours or
I think
particular objects?
Personally, for me, some of the marble stands, the stone stand, they are just amazing to see, and the work that they go into putting these big stands. But some of the kitchens now with the sort of even marble induction hobs, and everything's just all sleek lines and into the sink and everything, and it's just pretty cool. And you think, I mean, not everyone's got the budget to spend there, but then everything will then develop thereafter. So
that's right,
there'll be somebody else who'll do a stone that won't be as expensive, and so then we'll start to see it being able to be used in
more economical ways.
Exactly. But they're spectacular stands to see, and it's
impactful.
And there was, there's another company, Sempra. This was amazing big stand that you walk through at all the trees. It's just interesting bits of furniture, but nothing wow. But the way they did their room sets and things was just quite clever for how to have a small space made just to look unusual and just clever how they did their storage. And it was somewhere that you'd love to be able to go and stay, like a wee hotel or a small flat, and it just was quite inspiring. And you think, it's just clever, and the whole stand was thought of so well, it just made it so inviting, and it was like scenes, and it was nice. I really enjoyed that. I think that was quite. It's just a bit of a break from stand after stand after stand of product. It wasn't all about their product. It was just about the experience in this stand, which was fab. So I enjoyed that. I think that was quite a wee break from...
Are they individual as a company as well, that they're not following a trend of somebody else?
No.
There are a few companies like that who they just keep to their own road, and that's, for me, is how it should be. You shouldn't just follow the other guy all the time. You should have your individuality and develop your individuality, which gives people more choices rather than 3 million... the same thing,
1 million for a sheep or something. Apart from MAISON, OBJET, the actual show, what else does Paris offer you as designers and creative people?
It's just an inspiring place to be in, especially we're in the Saint Germain here in the left bank, and you look at some of these shops and people and think, how do they survive? There's so many individual people, which is just amazing.
I think that's the nice thing about Paris is people support small businesses and small shops. And I think when you wander around the little streets, actually the metro sometimes not working is quite good, because you pop out onto the street level and you see all these little shops, and people, but then they're clever because they're open late, so people work, then they finish but the shops are open till 8 o'clock, so they can still, and they then but they also have their sales on at small times of the year. They don't have it throughout the year, and we're I think in Britain bad for that, because we're just sale all the time, and nobody really they don't get it. And I think that's where the small business side and the unique shops and everything's just a bit more eclectic. And you'll see the big stores, of course you'll see the big stores, but Saint-Germain doesn't really promote that. It's more about all the little shops, and I think that's what's nice. And the galleries mix in with clothes shops and jewellery shops, and restaurants are packed out. You can sit and drink on the street, and it's bustly, and it's fun. You want to be out and seeing things, and even out at night and stuff, and wander around the streets, it's even, I don't know, it's just, it was a nice couple of dry nights. We were out wandering around. Lovely. Yes, under a brolly, you're not seeing the same thing, but I think, I don't know, it's just inspiring, because even people watching as well.
Do you stay in the same area every time you return to Paris?
We stay, exactly. It's taken us years to achieve this goal of being in the right place. And we're right in the heart of it, and it's perfect. You walk everywhere, and it's all at your fingertips.
Do you stay in the same hotel? Fantastic.
Every time.
But again, you know what to do. It's easy. It's easy. But then where we are is Rue Jacob, with all the showrooms, fabric showrooms around you. So then when they have in January, when they open the showrooms and deco off for us to go and see the new fabrics, we see them anyway, because all the fabric companies are very good to come and show us here. But it's good to see them in their own setting and in a different environment, and it's all their product in one place. And it's nice because, all these wee showrooms are around us and they're open for drinks and stuff at night and things like that, which is also a wee plus. And then you just wander around and have a great...
I want to book a flight to Paris tonight. Tell me this, the area that you go to, have you seen it change? Is it kind of the same? Has it always been?
No, it's always been the same. But I think that now, because of especially in January, because of the exhibition changing, because of the fabric companies now not being out at the exhibition, the whole thing is absolutely buzzing. I mean, it's buzz.
And it's interesting because of the accents you hear, because there's a lot of Americans and Canadians are coming over now.
All over the world, yeah.
So I think, especially in January, you hear that more than September. So they obviously do their big buying will be now.
Yeah.
And I think, it's more worldwide. Although MAISON have Miami and they have China, I think now as well.
Yeah.
Deco Off don't do that. I don't. I'm not aware of that they do that. So I think people from abroad are coming over to Paris to see, America, to see the fabric companies and
to get as much as
inspiration. And
a lot of companies will travel. They will do Cologne, then Paris, and carry on around doing a few exhibitions.
Do you still get the same buzz in Milan?
It's quite
different.
buzz,
or is it buzz?
I know. The showrooms in Milan are also all open as well, and it's fantastic to see them. And they are amazing, and some of the stands are really enormous, and the amount of money they spend doing the quality of the stands, the marble staircases or whatever, all the furniture and things. So it's not just thrown up. It's amazing.
It's
stuff.
a big deal.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
And Milan's quite different. It's a whole different atmosphere to Paris, for sure, yeah.
Okay, this might be a tricky question, but certainly one that would be very interesting to hear about. As an interior designer, where does your inspiration come from?
Well, I think we travel. I love to travel, love to see things. I mean, it's the Buffalo Bill Museum and whatever, you're seeing primitive art. And that, for me, is a big inspiration. There's one stand at the fair, which I absolutely adore. They have pieces, they're not Chinese, they're Asian. There are some Chinese people, but a lot of Asian influences. But the pieces are old pieces. But there is up there, as you can get today. I mean, they're just works of art and just, I can't get enough of them. and that just inspires you, or once a few years ago, again, we were in Paris, walking down the street. We were being asked to design a whole concept for a company. Yeah. And I'm just looking out this window and I see a picture frame. That was it. That was that one thing was inspiration for the whole design of the 32 premises we did for them. And so again, it wasn't about, yes, you take that inspiration and then you lead on, or you see an object and that takes you into the next.
Did that inform in terms of shapes and styles of furniture, colourways?
Yeah, maybe? Because on the stand, in fact, of the company that I'm talking about, they had a pair of chairs sitting there. And if Fritz Hansen's name was attached to it, you would have thought he had designed them.
Right, okay.
But Fritz Hansen had obviously seen these things before, because they're ancient.
Right.
It was... That's where his influence obviously come from something like that too. So you can see where it all goes around. Or if you go to the Buffalo Bill Museum, you see all the American art, the Indians, their beadwork, and the design are phenomenal. Mr. Ralph Lauren, that's where his inspiration comes from for sure. You can see it all coming through time. So it's.
Do you find the art is more influential now in terms of interior design? Do you find maybe that people are looking at works of art or their collection to inform how their interiors are going to be?
I don't. Yeah, I think that the designers do. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know that the public actually look on that perception. I don't think so.
I think no, because I don't know. It just depends, I suppose, the type of person and what they're interested in. But I think although you might be designing your interior, you're not. I think the art then comes last sometimes, and they're like trying to get a bit of art that fits in with the colour scheme.
Okay.
Whereas sometimes it's quite nice to go into somebody's house that you see their stuff from before and go, that's a fantastic painting. And I know where that's going to go, and I think you can get then inspired by maybe some colours in it that you then think that people, because that's obviously they've bought it because they like it, so they're hopefully they've bought it because they like it, because it's not just been plonked in. But I don't know, it's something to do with, I think it's, we see objects and you can imagine them somewhere. Yeah. And it's really hard sometimes if you're not from the same visual background that we are, that they find it hard to visualize art in places, and you're saying, well, this would look great here, but until that piece of furniture's in, they can't see that. And I think it's sometimes difficult for us to try and get that across to somebody. Yes. But it's sort of trusting your judgment. I think that's where people are coming to us for help with their interior. Then they need to use our experience and our advice. And it's not, we have to work with them as well. But I think it's trusting us that we're telling you that that we believe that this will look. We're seeing their house through different eyes, so therefore, we're and I think it's important that they just take a step back, see what we're saying, and then we're visual people, so maybe it's easier for us.
Maybe it's like building confidence in them as well.
Totally, yeah.
Building out a relationship.
For sure.
Which leads into the next question: how would you describe what you do? Now, that's a big question.
It is a big question. Yeah, it's challenging every day, and that's the good thing about it. It's not a job; it's a way of life.
Of course, yeah. It's passion for you. I mean, it's
total. And the taking, that's a good thing. You're taking it could be a small object and creating it into an amazing interior. So the whole every day is a fantastic challenge, and to take the client from having no idea, basically, to them totally getting involved in the situation, and then becoming and becoming so involved that they actually enjoy it, as opposed to
when's the squeeze we finish?
Of course.
Yeah, and
so you can see the confidence building then potentially throughout the weeks of exchange and mood boards and drawing sketches and coming up with colourways and
just get the client involved. Okay, if the client doesn't want to be involved, but once they are involved, they get a lot more out of it at the end of the day.
Right. Is that more sort of productive then?
Yes, and they feel better because they've been involved in it, and if they think they've done it at the end of the day, that's fine.
Love it.
Do you see yourself happy?
Yes, of course. Do you see yourself as problem solvers as well?
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah, all the time. And I think, especially because we are interior designers and architects, then we have the retail side of things. So we have all aspects under one roof, and so that helps us through all the. If it's someone just wanting to deal with wallpaper, so that we can work with them to see that's the right walls to buy because of X, Y, and Z. Then move it on up the line. Whether someone wants a teaspoon or someone wants a whole house, of course. You've got the whole facility within.
Yes,
and that's and to turn jobs around that. How am I going to explain this a bit better? If someone comes in, they want to redo their house. It's about analysing the spaces within the house before you talk about any colours or anything else. It's getting the relationships with spaces correct and getting all the right things right at the beginning, and then it all will
goes thereafter.
That's very important.
Of course.
Whether it's one room or a whole house, you need to get the basics correct.
Okay. And what about building that relationship with the person, with your client? You need to get to know them and
totally,
understand where they're coming from, and obviously their budgetary, the budget and things like that as well.
You've got the husband and wife syndrome to start with. We're poles apart. That's normal.
Of course. The day-to-day. Yeah.
Day-to-day excitements. Yes, dear. So that's so it's trying to get and get into both camps, or sometimes you have to be an arbiter in the sense that you hear what both say and then try and find a solution that satisfies both camps. And that's very tricky.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's exceedingly tricky sometimes.
So psychology in there too. I mean,
you need to be a psychologist, a marriage guide and counsellor.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
All of those things you have to be, none of which you're taught when you go to art school.
Of course. Okay, how do you know what to buy? Is it instinctive? Is it?
I think you're, from experience for yourself being in the industry for so long, that there's some pieces that, for instance, Mum's bought over the years and that now are like, desirable pieces of lighting or furniture to have. And I think sometimes we can be a bit ahead as well.
Right. Yeah.
And that's where, which is great. But it's a wee bit slightly frustrating sometimes because you're trying to get people to encourage them to say, well, this is fantastic, but is
it a bit too modern for some?
Well, maybe
in terms of
it's something you're buying ahead of time. I think that's the thing. But then you're seeing these companies who have these things, and that's the excitement that you've had it 3 years before the rest of the market is there, and that and just so that and being able to see things. And I suppose it's within you. I think that doesn't just come along. I think it's actually is within you.
So you feel a certain way.
I will
when you
buy
see something.
Irrespective. I'm not interested. I'm going to sell 10 of them or 10,000 of them.
Right.
It doesn't bother me.
Right.
If it's a really nice piece, I will buy it.
But
are you the same?
Yeah, I think so. I think that the show is so ginormous. Speaking of Paris being the one we buy it most, but that there's so much to see, and the market probably is saturated with design companies who are doing the same things, and everyone's doing the same thing, and there's not a lot of. I don't think there's a lot of. You don't see new stuff all the time that it's hard because I think that you know yourself what you would love to sell and you want to buy for the shop, and you're hoping that people still see it like yourselves, but sometimes we have to make the judgment going, well, there's no point buying it because we'll still have it here in 5 years' time, and maybe it'll be then collectible, and but then you take a chance like we do, and we do buy it, and and it's hard. We know the companies to go to, and we know the companies that we like to deal with, and some are easier to deal with than others. It's like a needle in a haystack sometimes, trying to see the good products out of so much.
Do you find that consumers or your customers get a lot of comfort in buying things that are the same? And you get other consumers or customers that like things that are completely different.
Yeah.
And so you've got a split in terms of how people approach accessories and interiors and style.
Most people say to us, in fact, it's the other way. They like them because we're different. Okay. That's hear that almost daily. I would think.
That's very true. I mean, I know there are people that follow trends.
Yeah.
And that's what they enjoy doing because that's a comfort zone for them. So they will just follow a trend, which is fine. Yeah. But we probably aren't like that. We don't really follow trends. So we're not inspired by fashion trends and things like that. Yeah, I mean,
accessory wise,
we are. We're not. I read magazines. You look at art. We're aware of what's going on, but that's not how we style our shop. We don't style and do our interiors because of there's a great trend in coral pink at the moment. Well, we're not probably going to go down that road unless somebody comes in and says, I really want that. Then you work around it. But again, it's getting that. But the whole point is now, I think what we're seeing more of, and we have to be aware of, is the environment and sustainability, and getting rid of the trend after trend after trend of changing your interior every couple of years and things like that, because our world can't sustain that. We know that. So I think now as designers, we're becoming, and I come from a textile background now, I think textiles have changed a lot since I was at art school, and it was already developing, and I think it's now becoming more people are becoming more inventive with how they're using recyclable materials. So plastic bottles into mattresses for the Olympics coming up in China, and boxes, cardboard boxes that are going to be the beds, but they're made in such a way that's so creative. Yeah. And you think that's where things should, that's the trend we should be following, is how to make interiors more sustainable. Yeah. And and I think that maybe it's a generation thing, and I probably am in that middle ground of generation of you follow things, and you want some sort of piece of clothing that you maybe can wear and not and wear once or twice and then it's fine, but actually buying the key pieces and then carrying them through that are key in design pieces, that your interior can be 25, 30 years of time that is not going to change, and you can and I think that's where it's not saying that everyone has to have a recycled sofa that's made out of the new technology or anything like that. You can still have a sofa, but if you buy it correctly and you buy a nice style at the right time, then it will last through time, and then you can start developing or introducing other sustainable products thereafter, as well.
So does that lead into the next question about what your top 2020 trend is and why?
Well, I think the top, it has to be, we are seeing more sustainable things, and I think that's...
Every day the companies are bringing, with somebody in yesterday with fabulous rugs, all made of plastic bottles. I mean, they were soft, they weren't rough, and you put them outside, inside, but they were every bit as good as a wool carpet. You couldn't tell the difference.
Totally versatile inside and out. That's great.
Yeah. But then again, there's nothing wrong with wool and there's nothing wrong with leather, but we're being told that, because of the climate, we can't be producing the cow, we know the story. However, but the leather is the byproduct of this, and leather lasts a lifetime. So that's a product that we should be using more of, and we should be wool. What is wrong with wool? The sheep need to get rid of their wool. So it's all about understanding what we need and what we require, and that these products aren't bad. There's nothing wrong with a wool, a wool covering for your sofa or a leather chair or anything like that. We can't be told, but then I think we all just need to be a wee bit more aware of where design is going, and I think the product design is probably the new trend, and in how we can use these recyclable materials to make our interiors better for the planet, really. Yeah.
Okay, so what about colours and prints and things like that, textures? What do you think? What's happening? What's coming through? What should we be looking at?
Well, it's fringes and things.
Fringes.
They've been coming back for about 3 years now, but Milan 3 years ago, every sofa had a fringe just about, from the top of the market to the bottom of the market.
Really?
Yeah.
And are you into your schemes and into your exchanges?
A few small fringes here and there. But
I think it's the confidence thing of getting people to realise, but then maybe because fashion shows fringes and stuff, I think, maybe put a fringe on that little...
You've got the fringes in the back of the cowboy jackets, right? So I'm thinking that, but I'm also thinking fringes on the 70s kind of velour sofa.
That's
chaise longue.
But big.
Long.
3 years ago, Milan was full of that. It's coming. You can see it coming through.
Yeah. That's very interesting.
It's fun.
Lots coming now, producing fringes again. So before they were quite scarce.
Yeah, it's hard to find a big fringe, a
fringed object.
But no.
Swags and tails were coming back.
Yes. Yeah. The horror.
What about prints and things like that? What anything going on there?
Yeah,
sort of more, but again, on surfaces, printed surfaces. So again, like your sort of tiled, but
tiles.
But that's the Italians again. They're running that line. It's more imagery on on big surfaces. So you get big splashbacks with prints and I think that
printed tiles all coming back again.
What about dramatic wallscapes?
Oh yes, with the wallpapers. And full
Huge,
walls.
like overblown flowers and looms and
lots of rooms now.
murals. And
Lots
again, but then it's how you approach that for domestic interiors. And it's
Versus
brilliant
commercial.
for commercial and
Right.
bars and stuff, and you can see all the fun stuff there, and that's great.
so
to
slightly
see.
difficult to interpret in a residential.
Well, sometimes I think you just have to remember how you've got to
Scale.
use it and scale and things like that too, and that's where people can come in with these ideas, and you're like, okay, but then how do we use that in your interior? And so sometimes it's just not always going to work, but we just have to, I think and textures are. It's nice to be able to use a texture and a print and in different ways and
lots of wool textures.
and bobbly wool.
Bobbly wool.
Nice,
time.
cozy,
Rough, right, okay.
yeah.
And what about things like velvet? Velvet's
Yeah,
very
velvet's
common.
still there.
Still there,
for
but
a while. It's lovely.
But definitely the wool,
So more of
the
the wool.
bubbly, bookly,
Yes.
big time.
Wools,
Yeah.
Okay, so you've mentioned that you sometimes you can buy things for the future, and not everyone sees them as being things they want to buy now. So what are your predictions for 2030? Is that right?
God.
10 years from now?
10 years from now.
What would you like to see there?
I think what will happen with technology, I think that's the one that will change it. But whether in 10 years it will change it that much that it will come back in every household, I'm not sure about that one.
Okay.
I think that obviously, technology will be dictating how we live our lives. You can already turn your lights on from your desk,
Yes.
at home, your lights at home and your heating, etc. But I think that people are more aware of reusing stuff they've got already. I'm sorry I'm not badgering on about that, but I think it's one of those ones that there was, people used to inherit furniture and I think
Like heirlooms almost.
yeah, a wee bit. And people are just like, oh no, and then you hear people going, oh, I've got all this stuff and my family are not going to want to take it and things like that. But I think realistically, we might find that people are hanging on to stuff a wee bit longer and
So reworking those items, reusing them.
I think so. I mean, there'll be some updating. So there'll be some stuff that, of course, needs to go to the skip. But there's, I'd like to see the throwaway thing disappearing and people becoming more loving the things they've got and appreciating them. Yeah, and I think it's
Because I think good bits go through time. You can change the incidental bits, but I think that the hardcore stuff, you should, 10, 20 years is nothing.
No,
really, to get, and it will, if you choose wisely, it will last time. So I don't know, actually don't know what 2030 is going to bring. In real terms,
I don't think a lot will change. I think the technology thing change. You won't have everything will be wireless.
Projecting an image onto a wall, perhaps, rather than papering the wall.
But then I think that maybe in that respect, we don't live in it's quite a stark way of having a wall covering, whereas actually we want to go home because be cozy and things like that. And I think the whole adding textures and fabrics and things into your house, it's a nice wee hub to go back to. Whereas some people do like the minimalist look, and it's very and you can project, change it with the seasons and things like that. But then I don't think it's not very personal. Maybe I think I'm not convinced that.
People need their personal space, don't they, in ways, because the working world is so impersonal in ways.
That's right.
So they need that feeling that they're who they are.
Yeah.
Make it your own space.
Yes. Okay, if you could bring back one trend, what would it be? So looking forward to the answer.
I don't know if there's much we would bring back.
There you go, good answer.
I'm struggling.
I don't know, actually.
Things go around. And it's we've now got the 50s, 60s, 70s stuff, but it's
80s is about right. But
what are we going to come back to?
What about the 90s? What happened to the 90s interiors?
I think it was not all rag rope. It was a bit
80s. That was the 80s.
Oh, that was the 80s. Sorry,
rag rope walls. I don't think that's ever hopefully coming back.
No, I don't.
The colour black obviously is really more popular than ever. I think is that quite a 90s thing? Black.
Or the black veneer.
Oh, black.
That's very
Leather
80s
sofas.
too. Blacks, but isn't black's like grey? It's you can put it with everything. So
it's a classic.
It's classic. So I think maybe you didn't. Well, you probably have seen it in every decade.
Yeah, maybe.
Yes.
I don't think it's going to come and go.
Okay, this might be an easier one to answer. Then what trend from the past 20 years would you never want to see again?
Festoon and Austrian blinds.
Oh my goodness.
They're horrific. They were horrific the first time around.
Describe them to
But
us.
it wasn't. It was the fact that people misused them. Because they put them in far. Most houses are not tall windows. Apart from the West End, but the average house has small windows, and they just looked dreadful. There's nothing else you could say.
How did you just used to just we're all frilly knickers? Just a bit too.
That's great.
Too much. So thankfully they can be away
binned
forever.
Okay,
Yes.
they're gone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So back to your actual commissions and things like that. What's been the most rewarding design in your career? You might want to name names or be too specific, but certainly, is there something out there that's just it's still with you for lots of good reasons? There could be funny stories in there too. Don't get me wrong. There's always a funny story.
There's plenty of them, some not repeatable. But I think there's so many jobs there's so many jobs over the years, and the joy for me is the fact that at the end of the day, no matter who the client is, that they get the buzz and they get it at the end of the day, and they just love it. You get a letter saying beyond my wildest expectations. I mean, that is phenomenal to get. That's the buzz. The buzz is doing the job or using some amazing pieces in a job, and it's all becomes exciting. It's getting that.
But you have to remember, you did do for the opening of the Parliament.
Oh yes, we did do that.
Through Historic Scotland, you got commissioned to do where the crown was carried in.
The cushion
for that, and the tablecloth for there, and
the tablecloth.
So any footage that comes out of when the Queen comes, it still comes out, and it's all still there.
When you say you designed it, did you choose?
We made it. I mean, they made it.
Choose the fab. Tell us more. So did you?
Or just a cushion.
But the crown sits on it,
and we had to get us, the inside, because the crown weight is quite a lot.
Yeah.
So they had to have stabilisation inside the cushion to take the weight, so it didn't go
absolutely
bounce off the table.
But it was all very.
So how did you get that commission then?
It was through Historic Scotland.
Good, great.
So that was on the tablecloth, yes.
So it's
years ago that happened,
but
that's a story for you.
They are.
Did it take you quite a while to choose the fabric and things like that? Was it stressful? Do you remember?
No.
Did you just sort of know what would work?
No, we knew what you were looking for. You're looking it was silk velvet.
Right, okay.
It was silk.
Yes.
So you get that vibrance from it,
Yeah.
and the trim, we had to have gold with it and things as well. So it was woven gold fabric.
Did your upholsterers make it?
Katrina and Linda,
in our shop.
Even better.
In our own workshop.
Fantastic. And were you given a brief in terms of?
Well, a size.
The size, is it
the
types of fabric?
No. That was
all down to you.
Up to you. Oh, to us, So we
that's great
from that.
But I think, as you say, it's more.
Well, the other thing which was unusual, not design-wise in the sense at that point, but the Stirling Castle, the Great Hall, we did those huge 5-metre high drapes. The fringe weighed half a ton.
There you go.
And that was done in our workroom too. And the fabric was woven in a mill in one of 5 remaining, what do you call it? Thing that weaves the fabric.
Looms.
Looms, that's the word, thank you.
Yeah.
One of the 5 remaining looms around. So that, we had that. There was hundreds of metres of it, yeah.
Yeah. My goodness.
That was
over your shoulders and
well, it was physically just getting it up
physically
there for the guys. They had to have a scaffold and things to erect it up and hope it didn't fall off.
Still standing though?
Still standing.
Still there, yeah.
Still there.
From one royal quarter to another. What's your own home like?
There's not space on the wall that doesn't have a piece of art on it. It's
really?
It's stacked to the
Are you a collector?
Oh, yeah, totally. See, I
Great.
just buy bits, but I can't. If I see something I really like.
What was your most recent purchase then for your house?
It's a painting. It's a 3D sort of type painting, yeah, which is a phenomenal blue colour. Yeah, it's just white and blue.
Lovely.
So it's
modern.
Modern, very modern. Yes. So, but we'll buy old things on the way in various places. So it's just all about Coca-Cola, telephone, or whatever. It's all it's all the.
So you just live out with Glasgow, so
yes, we're out in the sticks.
Out in the sticks, in the country.
Country, yes.
Country life.
Yeah, not that we see it.
That's right, because you're always here.
Always in Glasgow working, yeah.
So your house is a mix of lots of art, and what's the colourway like? Do you have a particular...
White. Everything's white and grey. And paintings.
And painted, lovely.
That's it. Mm-hmm.
Do you have a black floor? Did you ever have this chat?
Yes, I still have a
black floor.
A black floor, which has been there for 40 years.
There you go.
It's immaculate the day that it went in, yeah. I'll never wear out.
That's amazing.
It was taken in railway stations and things like that.
Was it a rubber flat, industrial rubber floor?
Rubber alpha floor, yeah.
I remember we had that chat. That's good.
So it's still going today, that material. Reinvented, yeah. There's all colours and things like that.
Amazing. Yeah. Now, about your house, what's it like?
A mix. Well, yeah, it's quite colourful. Great, but still has a palette of grey and white as the background. Right. But I'm slightly more adventurous with my colour. And in comparison to your mum. Yeah, well, I'm probably more of a... I do like collect things, but then obviously... I'm into textures and things like that too. Yeah. So, my recent purchase has been again a sustainable thing, which was my sheepskin cover, skins for my chairs in my kitchen. Lovely. Which the sheep wander around the hills nearby, and it's a byproduct of what is being sold. Fantastic. And I said to the lady when I went to get them recently, and she said, "Oh, they've not got as many because I got." A couple more. She said, "I've not got as many just now. The lambs are fattening up at the moment." I was like, "Oh dear." But she said, "But that's what we do. We're farmers. We sell our meat, but we now decide that the byproduct, obviously, we sell the skins." I said to her, "So if I drive along the road in the field and I see some lovely lambs over Christmas and over to Easter time jumping around with a nice fleece, can I earmark them so that I can get a couple more come Easter time?" So we have a laugh, but it's nice because that's local for me and I love it. But I just I like textures and colours and things and adding a few pieces in. But I also have a daughter who's 9 years old who rides around the house on her hoverboard and things like that and clashes into the units and things. So
comes with the football boots.
Yeah, the football boots but I collect. But then. My kitchen also is a gallery of her art that we have done. Yeah. She has done since she was little. So I've got all those things too. And but it's nice. I think it's just, but as I say, I'm probably similar to Mum in that if you see something I like it, I do. Buy it.
That's how you feel.
Yeah, good. Yeah. We're not buy all the time. It's just as and when.
Okay, money's no object. Okay. Time is no object either. If you could choose one piece for your home, what would it be?
Well, I suppose I got the exhibition was out with this company that with the Oriental sort of pieces because they're so art form is immense in them. The actual look of them and the texture of the whole, but the scale of them is enormous as well. So that would be my downside. I couldn't fit one in.
Okay.
Which is the only thing that's holding me back.
You might have to build a house or something.
I know, we're having to put an extension on, which is not possible.
So clearly these objects that you've seen recently are still with you?
Oh, yeah. They're all pieces of art. That's the thing. They're functional, but and pieces of art. If you've got a console table, it might go from here to over here. That's when there's an amazing piece of a tree dating back in time. Yeah. Or it's a table that's a table that's 10 feet, 2.5 meters long, or something like that, which you can't fit into every regular home. So and then just the essence of the material and how they've been brought back into time, given they've been hanging about for hundreds of years in some bush or cave somewhere, it's
I'll be looking these out. They sound amazing.
I'll show you some pictures.
Me?
Yeah,
please do. Okay, what's your piece?
I don't know. I've probably always harked after an Eames lounge chair and Ottoman, the footstool.
Right.
I think it's just a classic, and I love anything that's a bit leather, like leather sofas and I really do like the texture.
Yeah.
Although I'm a printed textile girl at heart, I love leather. I mean, I printed on leather and stuff at art school, but it's more that it's just a classic. Well, there's your black and your wood. I mean, it's nice, and I think that it could fit in anywhere, and it's like a sculptural piece on its own anyway.
That's the thing.
So, and yeah, I think I hark after one of them, and it'd be one of those. Yeah, I think I would. If I won the lottery, maybe
that'd be it.
I might. Obviously, that'd be one thing that I'd like just to have to say I've got one.
And would daughter be allowed up with her football boots?
Yeah, she'd be allowed up. Because that's a point.
You could buy two. You buy one for her. One for me.
Thing is, we live in a house that's livable. Yes. I don't live in a house that's precious. So you can't mind with your shoes on. I don't make you take your shoes off at the door. So right. It's one of those ones that I think things like that, and it'll last as well. So I would love one of them, to be fair. That'd be my choice.
Mm-hmm. Okay, some advice from the experts here. Mm-hmm. Someone setting up their first home. What is your key advice for them?
I think it's to buy not to try and do everything at once.
Okay.
Layer it. Get your essentials in, get the rudiments of where everything's going to be, and layer it up so that you've got the essentials in, and then you can layer it up as you've got money, as because it's time. And with money is usually the biggest issues, because everything is everything's expensive, but
there's a cost involved.
Putting all the whole first house together, you need your sofa, your flooring, your curtains, your blinds, or whatever. So there's a lot of things to be added into your beds, your bedside table, lamps, the whole shebang. So just put in the essential ingredients, and rather than say, I'll buy that just for the sake of it to fill a hole. Don't. Mm-hmm. If you don't need it. Mm-hmm. Buy it when you've got the right piece, and then that way around, it's not going to cost you more. It'll cost you less because you'll do it once.
So it's getting to know the space, understanding the space as well that you're in, and how you live in that as well.
Well, I think we're talking about the first home. The thing is, they've no idea. They're not living in the space that they have. They've just got the home, so they're actually they're thinking, I need everything. But in actual fact, you don't need everything. Just layer it, and then that way around, it'll work better for you, and you'll get more confidence in doing it anyway, because you're not making a mistake.
Yeah.
You've held back and you bought the right thing rather than buy it and think, why did I buy that? And that's more money spent.
It's also finding the confidence not to buy, isn't it?
Yes, and we tell people that all the time. All the time.
Just say no just now, think about it.
Get everything you actually need, or really essential ingredients in the pot, and then work away from that.
Okay. Thank you.
And don't get carried away.
And what advice would you give someone who's actually refurbishing their existing home? Is it a different type of scenario then?
Yes. From an architectural point of view as well, you're analysing your spaces and how you use the spaces. Do the spaces actually work? Do the spaces need to be reassessed? And then working out the plan in relation to that, and then working out the layout within that sort of space as well, and making yourself, think about the spaces. A good thing I think it's quite good telling people, if you take a photograph of your room or your spaces and look at them through the photograph, you will see it differently to standing in the room, because you're taking yourself out of the space and make sure that into the space. And you think, didn't realise that was there. You see, your mind actually thinks differently, and it helps to rationalise the space. So it's a good way to help you. And then you can sit and look at it when you're feeling different as well, because you're just standing there and you're irritated by something. Then when you're looking at the photograph, you're stepping back from it and analysing it in a more sort of methodical way. And it really is analysing the spaces is the key to it all. Getting the layout. It doesn't matter whose sofa or what sofa it is. It's what size it should be and what position it should be, where the lights should be, how the whole thing is going to work. It's not just about picking bits and sticking them in.
Sure.
Or put a light in the corner over there. It's not about that. It's just really thinking about the heart. And that gives you a good grounding, and it will work a lot better.
When you talk about the sofa, I'm just thinking it's how you want to sit on a sofa as well, isn't it?
Oh,
Depth
totally.
And width and all these things.
Because
how do people use their sofas? Some people lie in them, some people sit in them,
that's right.
some people read in them, some people don't read in them.
Yeah.
But when people go to buy them, they don't do that.
Yeah.
They sit.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it's quite comfortable. But in actual fact, the reality is they're never going to sit perched on the edge. You just sit down 10 minutes on a sofa, like you're going to have it at home, and then analyse it.
Yeah.
Rather than and then you can also buy online if you like, and get something that you weren't expecting.
Yes. We also ask our guests to prepare a quick how-to snippet on anything they like. Past answers have discussed how to reverse park, set tablet, and even how to check your pet hamster is dead and not just hibernating. So you can be as eclectic as you like with your answer. What's your how-to?
Well, I think we get asked, going from
Sofa department.
sofas, we get asked quite a lot. Well, about my sofa's not very comfortable, and it's like how to plump your sofa cushions. Well, you need to eat your porridge in the morning first of all, and then especially if they're full feather cushions, you have to take them off your sofa and thump them down on their end onto the floor. Properly thump them down about 3 or 4 times, as much as your arms can do. Thump, thump, and all the feathers start to move around again. And then you put them back on your sofa and make sure that they get pushed into the back as well. And then obviously you have perfect cushions, and you'll sit in them.
Do you have to dip? Right, okay.
So this is your seat cushions. This is your seat cushions we're talking about. So because there's nothing worse than the cushion starts to then slope to the front and you're sliding off your sofa. You need to get it nice and plump, but you have to use your root strength and thump, 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 and then they'll be all jiggled up and they'll be super comfy, and you'll float into your sofa and have a great night's sleep on your sofa.
Even those that are darker, and any cushion like that, in fact, you can, that's how then you have
super
comfort. But they do need to looked after. It's the same with your pillows in your bed. You need to shake your feathers up so that they don't go all together. So take care of your feather cushions.
Get shaking those feathers.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks very much. That's great.
All right.
The January and February issue of the magazine is still available, and with it comes the Design Directory 2020. Featuring complete renovations to interior decor and building bespoke, this is your ultimate little black book to help you reach your end of year goal, domestic bliss. The magazine and supplement are available across Scotland in all good retailers, or you can read current and backup issues online via the Homes and Interiors Scotland app or on Readly. Perhaps you might like to receive 2020's magazines direct to your door by subscribing today from just £20. If you're enjoying our podcast, please don't forget to rate, review and subscribe. Find us online at homesandinteriorscotland.com or on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and Pinterest by searching for Homes and Interiors Scotland. This episode of the Homes and Interiors Scotland podcast was presented by myself, Gillian Welsh, produced by Sarah Gillespie and edited by Alan Bickerton. And thanks again to Bow Concept Scotland. We're looking forward to visiting the new Glasgow store when it opens. Keep up to date on Instagram at bowconcept.scotland or head to bowconcept.com.